Hi, everybody. It's been a while, a very long time, but life is being lifing in the best way possible. I've learned so much as per usual. I'm always learning, which is wonderful, which I think, is always happening if that's something that your intention is toward. And there's something I want to touch on because I'm kind of reminded of this conversation that I had with this guy once. And, he was asking me to rate myself. And I said, oh, okay, I rate myself a 10. And then he said, okay, so do you not feel like you need any improvement in your life or in yourself? And I said, look, loving yourself and then also wanting to evolve and embracing evolving can exist at the same time. It doesn't have to be, oh, I can't love myself right now completely. I can't think of myself as whole and complete and fully worthy until I have A, B, C, X, Y, Z, which is the way that he felt. He felt that he didn't have certain things, so he didn't rate himself that highly. He rated himself as like a 7 or a 6 because he didn't have a yacht yet and he didn't have billions of pounds and, all of this stuff. These material things that he wanted, which are fair enough. Okay, material things, hi, in this material world, I get it. There is a certain importance to those things. Obviously, you're here to have a human experience. I'm not one to say that I'm not one to deny all of those things. I love luxurious things, but it is about deeper than that, okay? Because we're talking about the material world, and the material world, let's say, is the second phase, like the second step in life. The first thing, one of the most important things in life, well, the most important thing is your inner world, because your inner world creates your outer world, right? So your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. So if your inner world isn't looking great, if you're like, oh, I can't be completely happy with myself, I can't accept myself because I don't have these things, that's not great, is it? Because then what happens is you manifest more of what you feel. You don't manifest more of what you want. You just get more of what you expect, and the state in which you're in, the vibration that you are occupying. Because time doesn't exist in the way that you think time exists. Time is not linear. Time, I know as humans, it can be really difficult to try and understand that and like get our heads around the fact of like, what do you mean time isn't linear? How is it not the past, present, future? It's not. It's all on a spectrum that exists now. It's almost like hot and cold. Okay, so if you think of hot and cold are on one line, right? On one spectrum, but they're just opposite ends. Happiness and sadness. Hi, Nikki Pro. Are just on the same line but at different ends of the spectrum, and time is like that. So time is like past, present, future, but it all exists right now. So what I'm trying to say is every version of you exists right now, okay, in every dimension, in every experience, in the past and the future. It all exists here and now. But the most important thing, the place in which, does that mean it's linear? It's not linear. It just feels like it's linear. In this human experience, it feels like it's linear, and it's kind of made out, I guess, to be linear, to make our experience, I guess, more understandable. Okay, let me explain what that means. It means, so time is used to signify events, right? At this time, at 10 p.m. or at 10 a.m., I'm going to go shower, then I'm gonna go have breakfast, then I'm gonna go do this, and at 7 I'm gonna go here, and then at 4 I'm gonna go here, and this and this and this. Good afternoon from good afternoon from Italy. Good afternoon, thank you. So yeah, that's why we have time, to signify events, to make it easier for us. Otherwise we'd be like, oh, okay, I have to go to work, I have to go here, I have to meet this person. When is that? Okay, so that's why it feels linear. Also because we came here on earth and we forgot who we are. We forgot our divine origin, okay? And it's a simulation. So you were made to forget on purpose so that you could go through this experience. We are in a VR game almost, okay? You're in a game. Where am I from? I'm from England. We're in a game and we don't know we're in a game. That's life. and time comes into that. So time helps you kind of make sense of that. Like, oh, okay, look, this used to happen 2 years ago. I used to have this habit, and now, I've changed, and now I'm growing, and now I'm not having this habit. Or it could be like you looking back into the past and be like, oh, I used to have this pattern, and if I kind of look at it, I feel like this pattern is continuing in my life still now. And then that is like teaching you growth, right? You can see growth, you can see transformation. And I guess, it's all about kind of awakening to the truth, to our divine truth, which more and more people are, because the vibration of the earth is the time is the fourth dimension, is it? I can't comment. I don't know. Hi, Shahib. Are you a teacher? I guess you could say I'm a teacher. Yeah, I guess I'm teaching something. So aren't we all teachers? Isn't everything a teacher? Oh, it's so funny actually. It kind of reminds me of conversations I have with my sister. Because I was gonna say I'd like to think I think in a different way, but I know I think in a quite a different way compared to other people. So like she'll ask me simple questions. Like, for example, are you a teacher? My answer won't be yes or no. It'll be, isn't everybody a teacher? Isn't everything a teacher, right? We can learn something from everything. So my answers will never kind of be straightforward, which I kind of like. I like it. Kind of philosophical. I always looked up to people like that. But that's just the way that I think now, So yeah, you can learn from everything, and everybody can be a teacher. Even if they're teaching something that's wrong, even though I don't believe in wrong or right, life is very nuanced. And also, am I a uni student? I am not a uni student, no. I know I'm dashingly young, but no, I finished, oh, yeah, I stopped going to uni a while ago. What was I saying? Teaching, yeah, okay. So experiences. Okay, so I was someone who grew up in a kind of what did I do in uni? I did study criminology in uni. I know it's quite different to what I'm talking about now, I guess. Kind of, I don't know. Yeah, probably a little bit. Religion, okay. So I grew up, and my mom was fairly religious, and we used to go to different religious places, temples, Gurdwara, etc. But I never really got into it. I never really got the teachings, the deep teachings that exist, which is the case for a lot of people. So it's actually one of the first levels of like spirituality. It's where you are just someone who goes to a place of worship, right? You're not necessarily the person who has been initiated in that particular religion, right? Like, for example, you will be different. The person, let's say you go, I don't know, once a week to the Gurdwara on a Sunday. You're different, and your knowledge is different compared to someone who goes every day. And then their knowledge is different to someone who works there, right? Someone who's like had years of experience of working there. And then their experience will be different to someone who's maybe a little bit higher up. I don't know what the hierarchy is in that sense, but you know what I'm saying. So everybody has different levels in which they're kind of they graduate through. So I went to these religious places, and I kind of just saw them at face value. I didn't get any depth. I didn't understand anything. I didn't understand anything about Sikhism, what it's about, what it's teaching. Nothing. I was a child, I just didn't get it. And then as I grew older, I kind of came away from religion because there was a lot of pressure put onto me, and there was a lot of force and control and fear mongering that I just thought, you know what, I am staying away from this. Okay, I like spirituality. I'm gonna go to this side. I'm accepted. I'm loved. I can do whatever I want. It just felt more whole and like accepting. But now, and then because I became so into spirituality, I became kind of very, not like very, but like anti-religion, I guess you could say. I didn't like it. I didn't understand it. I would look at people I would judge them, I'd be like, why are you so religious? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, you should be spiritual. Why are you just being controlled? Or it's not true. It's just about business. And look, there are aspects to that are true. Okay, I'm not saying that they're completely a lie. However, now because I used to judge those people and think that they weren't going to get anywhere. That I thought that the only way to oneness and divinity and union with God was through spirituality. I didn't accept that someone else's reality could be the truth. So I would look at my mom and be like, oh my God, you're so extremely religious. Like, this is just a sham. This is a lie. You're being frauded. What are you doing? Come to my side. Your truth is not the truth. My truth is the truth. And then it was only up until recently that I realized that, hey, if someone is of a particular religion, right, their religion will be true for them, okay? So they will have religious experiences that are in alignment with what they believe. Because that's what happens. The things that we believe, the things that we expect, they happen to us. They're happening to us all the time. And these things are guided by our identity, our self-concept, etc. So, for example, I was reading this book called Frequency. I'll show you. This one! Okay, shall I tell you the truth? I got it from a library and I didn't return it. I know. I just, I hadn't finished it and then I didn't return it and then I just, I kept it. Okay, now that I've admitted a crime, let's move on. Yeah, so in this book, the lady was talking about how different people have different experiences after death. So I don't know if you guys have ever heard of NDEs, near-death experiences. People have them. There's a record of them, okay? So we can see what's happening for people who just nearly died. And, depending on the kind of, like, level at which you're at and the beliefs that you have, you'll either believe it or you won't believe it. But I'm here to tell you what I learned. So, what did I learn? I learned that if you believe that after death, something really horrible is going to happen to you, like you're going to go to hell and the gates are going to look in a particular way and there's going to be a cauldron and you're going to be in it and you're going to be drowning and devil's going to have you and it's like choking you and like shoving you in the cauldron or something, then you may have an experience that sounds similar to that, And then other people who have different perceptions of what may happen will also experience that. And it happens for a short amount of time. The point being that I'm trying to make is everybody's truth and everybody's perception is their truth. But then the thing is also, when I say this, are you a teacher? Yes, I'm a teacher. Teacher Priya. I'm good. Yeah, I guess I can. Must we label things? I don't know. I'm just out here just sharing my experiences and sharing the vidya, the knowledge that I have, I guess. Which may be true, which may not be true. I don't know. That's for you to discern. I'm just here to do my job. But yeah, everybody's truth is their truth, okay? But like I said, I feel like I'm like reaching outwards, but I want to ground myself, okay? You want to bring back your awareness into your body, because me sitting here thinking about what everybody else is thinking about everybody else's truth and religion and their beliefs and their experiences, you're very interesting. Thank you, right? And I guess that's a reflection of you, because you perceive the energy at which you're at. So if you're very interesting, you'll perceive someone who's very interesting. And that is not to say that I cannot take a compliment. I can take a compliment and I receive it. I've absorbed it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Where was I at? Different people. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was going into other people's like minds, because that's something that I always used to do. I used to be like, oh, what's that person thinking? Oh, what's that person thinking? What's that person thinking? Oh my God. I'll be watching a movie with people. Oh my God, I wonder what my sister's thinking about this scene. Oh my God, I wonder what my dad's thinking about this scene. Oh my God, I wonder what this person's thinking. It's okay, Ian. I'm back on track. What's this person thinking? And I was all like, my awareness, because you have awareness, right? Your awareness. What is awareness? Awareness is you being alive. When you're aware, the thing that has awareness is alive. Animals, if an animal has an awareness, it's alive, right? When I'm dead, when my body has died, it's no longer in use, my awareness has left my body, right? I hope that makes sense. So your awareness shows that you are alive, okay? So your awareness at times can be outside of your body. This is what grounding is for. Grounding is saying, yo, Bring it back into your body, because at the end of the day, we have a human body, right? We're in this human experience on earth, having a physical experience. For what? To be in our bodies. To We're spiritual beings, having a spiritual experience through a physical world, almost. And it's one of the coolest places to be. You know, in Sikhism they say that Churasi June. So I don't know what the number Churasi means. Like 40,000 maybe, I think. June, are you a nations person? I don't know what that is. June, but it's basically saying like you went through like 40,000 different lifetimes of being maybe a different animal or something to get to be a human. I really hope that drives home the importance and the significance of being born a human. How often do you look at, am I Native American? I am not. Do I look it? I love Native Americans. I love everybody, okay. But they have a lot of knowledge, so yes, I do love them. Oh no, Ian, you've made me do it again. This is me trying to recall. I hope you can remember. Can someone tell me? Was it interesting? Do you want me to continue with that conversation? Oh Lord. So I kind of get it like into a flow, and then you know, you kind of just don't know. It kind of just goes. I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. I'm kidding. Okay, I'll just tell you something else I learned today, okay? Yeah, okay. So if you receive good news, if you have good news, don't tell anyone about it. Apparently people used to say this, but I don't know. I was kind of under the impression that you should share good news and that you shouldn't share bad news, okay? So it's okay, Ian, don't worry. So I learned today that you, like I said, you mustn't share good news. Keep it suppressed, but share bad news in a sense of if you feel scared or you feel anxious or you feel, I don't know, depressed or something, share it. And it kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Okay, the reason is, it's because there are different levels, okay? This is part of yoga. So I know yoga isn't just stretching and all of that. Yogas are different things. That's why people who are yogis are super wise, right? Because I guess that it's like a school. Oh God forbid I call it a school. Do you not like the school system? It's a, I don't know, insert whatever you think would replace a school, but not a school. It's a thought bubble. But there are different levels. So there's something that you say out loud, okay? There's something that you can see. I guess that's why visualization is so important. And then there's where you can I can't remember all of the levels, but there's one where you suppress something. So oftentimes what happens, you feel scared, you feel anxious, you feel depressed, you feel jealous. You're like, suppress. Hide. No one must find out I'm jealous. No one must find out I'm scared. Oh my God, no one can find out I'm anxious right now. I need to hide it. I need to be confident. What happens there is that this thought becomes, it's times, like the energy of it is expanded 12,000 times, okay? So when you suppress something, when you do not express it, the energy of it is expanded 12,000 times, okay? But when you say something, right, when you share it with your words, the energy of that decreases. So a lot of people do this, right? They don't share the negatives, right? So you'll be like, oh, are you okay? No, yeah, I'm fine. I'm great. Yeah, everything's good. Cool. Yes. But they're like, oh my God, this happened. Oh my God, this good news. I've got this good news. I've got this good news, which is all, you know, fair enough, because I totally get it. I was literally the same. Okay. But now change it, because if you suppress the good news, you're timesing that by 12,000. Okay. You're increasing the energy of it. And it kind of makes sense. You know why? Because I recently started doing this course, okay, and I was so excited to do this course. It was, I was really, really happy to be able to get onto it and to be able to do it, right? And then I told everybody, I'm telling everybody, like my whole family, okay, just my family, like I'm doing it, I'm so happy, good news, I want to tell everybody, right? And then turns out a few days ago, no regrets, like what it is what it is. I realized what I've observed is that I am no longer doing the course because it just required a bit too much for me. The timing was a bit crazy because it was based in like India, and I just didn't have I knew that I didn't have the level of commitment that I would want right now, and that my mind and soul were being called elsewhere. So I let go of that course. And now when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, maybe that's something that contributed to that. Maybe the fact that I told everybody about this great news that I had contributed to the fact that I didn't have any energy left for when it actually came to it. Because I generally thought that is what I wanted to do. Like, I was so excited, I was ecstatic. And then now I don't feel the same way. And that's okay. That's also okay, But like I said, it's because the things that we share lose energy. So maybe try it. Maybe do the opposite, And look, when you're feeling like, let's say you feel anxious. So I learned this from my Guru Pashupati. You can search him, Guru, Pashupati. I'll repeat again. Guru, and then Pashuti. Am I the only one with you? You are not, Ian. There are 5 people here, so I guess 4 others. Oh, okay, 2 others, 1 more. And I'm Italian. I'm not. I guess you can just keep guessing, or do you just want me to tell you? But yeah, Guru Pashupati, he was explaining this, so it's one of his recent videos that he released. About the importance of keeping things in. But maybe you can try it in your life. You can swap it out and tell people, oh, okay, I'm not feeling so good today. Yeah, I kind of feel scared. Or look, you don't even have to tell someone. He said just kind of like whisper it behind you. So just turn around and just say like, I'm scared, I'm not feeling too good right now, or something, like. And then I don't know why he said whisper behind you, but I guess there's some genius to that man. But yeah, always express it. And you know what? It's so true, because once I was feeling a little bit weird. There was kind of some conflict between my sister and I decided to come and tell my other sister about it and voice it, because usually I'm suppressing it, I'm hiding it, I'm keeping it in, I'm not talking about it. I'm like, there's so much shame in this, I can't express how I'm feeling right now. Almost hiding my humanness. But the moment I decided to just share it and be like, look, I kind of feel annoyed at her, or yeah, I feel upset at her that she's like ignoring me or something. She was annoyed at me, so she was kind of ignoring me, and that made me really upset. So I voiced that to my sister, and I immediately felt better. Immediately, And think about it. How many times do you share things that are stressing you? We don't want to. We don't want to share them because we don't want to burden people. But okay, let's explore that. Burden people. Okay, is me telling you, someone who cares about me, how I feel burdening you? First of all, a burden would be implying that you cannot handle this. That just means I think you're emotionally weak, right? Like, why is it that we normalize emotional weakness? Why can't we normalize emotional strength and resilience? So what this can look like is like when you're with your friends, you know how sometimes you're with your friend and your friend says, oh, do you think this outfit looks good on me? Or do you think this is okay? Or do you think, did he, did the guy I'm dating, did he respond? Do you think he likes me? Like, do you think he likes me? And it's clear that he doesn't like her, right? It's blatantly clear that he's not paying. You should be a consultant. Hi, Dudley. Long time. Thank you. I'm a coach. I guess I'll change that to life consultant. Let me know if you want to work with me one-on-one. The links are usually in my videos description box at the bottom. I know I haven't been posting videos, guys. I'm sorry. I will be back. Okay. I've just been going with the flow of life. I've been really. It's really great news of what I've been doing. And like I said, I've just been saying that you shouldn't share it. So I'm not going to share it with you guys. No offense, respectfully, because it's something that I want to keep to myself. And it's funny because Guru Pashupati was like, just don't be like, yeah, like, just like, even if you're whispering inside, like, good things happen to me, just like, oh, good things just happen to me sometimes. They don't happen. And then kind of just keep it in there, because you're going to make it grow, right? Suppression is like squeezing something. I guess suppression could be thought of like a diamond. When you have a diamond, it's being suppressed, right? It's a form of suppression of like squeezing, and that's what creates a diamond. I guess maybe that's like the same thing that works in this kind of scenario and situation. And like I said, we've been trained to do things differently, but in life, what the best thing is, you would like that, okay, well, contact me and we can get started. I'm taking on some new clients. I was gonna say patients, but oops. Not clients. So yeah, let me know. But yeah, in life, if you ever do something, look at the results, okay? Not like, is it right, is it wrong, who said this, who said that. It's okay, if I do A, what is the result, what is B, okay? Rather than, like I said, is it right, is it wrong, why does morality have to kind of come into it? It doesn't. Because the results are everything. If I start working out and I try this new routine, but I'm not really seeing anything a month afterwards, 2 months afterwards, why would I continue? That's just silly. You know what that is? That's insanity. Because what's insanity? I don't know why I'm doing the accent, but we're gonna go with it. Insanity is when you do the same thing over and over and over again, and you expect a different result. Which is crazy, right? You think that insanity is just like speaking to yourself. But no, I think normal people speak to themselves as well. But okay, I don't even know the normal thing. I don't know. I don't really know what normal is. I don't know if anyone can define that for me. I wanted to come on this live and talk about the things that I've learned recently. And one of them is a big one, okay? One of them is about relationships, and not just like romantic relationships, but relationships in general. Because is your shirt back to front? No. Why do you think that? I didn't used to be great at relating, because relationships were difficult for me because I didn't understand how to relate, because I grew up not learning how to be securely attached. So this goes back to your inner child, right? Everybody has an inner child. That inner child from the ages 0 to 7 becomes imprinted by its environment, by its caretakers and its experiences. And then these experiences teach that child, oh, okay, look, this is what love is. This is how you communicate. This is what a safe relationship looks like. This is this. Hi, Keshav, you finally got me. Woo! I hope you're well. We're talking about relationships because I've learned a little bit about relationships. How do you have so much things to say? I don't know. You just get me started. Namaste, Ji. Here I am. I like to read a lot. I learn a lot. I read a lot. I do a lot, And I'm being a lot as well. So being present teaches you loads anyway. I have an active mind, I guess. In the best sense. Relationships. So everybody has relationships, right? How well do we relate to people? I mean, the way that we relate to other people, right? It actually directly informs how happy you are in life. So if you have great relationships with people, with your peers, with your co-workers, with your family, with your romantic relationships, that shows that, you're doing something right, I guess. You're kind of healthy a little bit. You have great ways of communicating, I guess. You must do, right? Because to sustain relationships with anybody, with anything, you have to have certain things in place, right? And what is secure attachment? That's trust, right? That's when you have healthy relationships where it's like, oh, okay, I trust that you care for me. I trust that you do things for a good reason. Oh, Ian, thank you. That's so sweet. Pratham, hi. Hi, Rani. I'm very well, thank you. Better now that you're all here. Okay, relationships. So yeah, so generally, the better your relationships, the healthier they are, the happier you are. So my relationships, like I said, weren't that great because I wasn't that great at relating to people because I didn't know how to, because I grew up as a codependent. I had a wounded inner child. Like I said, very codependency, insecure attachment. So it was like insecure, and then it was avoidant. I would get really scared if I got too close to people because I hated the fact. Let me just explain it. Okay, so obviously, avoidant attachment is where you are fearful of intimacy. Okay, and this can be like physical, emotional, spiritual, whatever intimacy, right? Like when someone gets too close to you, you're like, oh my god, freaking out, I need to run away. And that's what I would do sometimes. Okay, so I would switch. I was cool. Okay, I had both. I'm like, oh my god, no, you fancy me, you really like me. I don't like this, and then I would run away, and then that person would give me the ick, or that person would be avoidant, and then I would be like, oh my god, I love you. I'm limerent. I was crazy limerent when I was a child. Honestly, it was crazy limerent. And limerence, I don't know if you guys know about limerence, but limerence is where you just have a crazy obsession with someone. You probably barely know them. You probably don't even know their name. There is no compatibility whatsoever. Or there may be, but you don't know. Okay, you don't know. You're just going off on a whim. Okay, you're like, oh my god, that person looks pretty, and they kind of like spark something in me, so I'm just gonna like devote all of my time to them and become obsessed with them. And yeah, that's how I'm gonna go through my life, just like thinking about other people and like escaping life, because that's what it is. It's a form of escapism, because you just don't like your life, so you just have something, and you don't want to be in the present moment, and then you're like, oh, okay, let me just like become limerent. I guess drugs weren't available to me when I was a child, so I couldn't like be taking drugs. So limerence was my choice of drug. And I guess limerence is kind of a drug, isn't it? It's just I choose romantic relationships to express my need to escape my life. And other people do different things. Food, right? Emotional eating, a lot of us do it. How often do we actually eat when we're hungry? I also did this. Substances, TV, other things. Who grabs more opportunities, introvert or extrovert? Is being shy or introvert same thing? Okay, I will try to answer to the best of my ability. From what I think, who grabs more opportunities? I don't know. I don't know about the who grabs more opportunities. Maybe extroverts, because they put themselves out there, but an introvert might also do, right? Because isn't introverted, you like to keep to yourself, and then you like to also socialize with people, but maybe more on a more one-on-one basis where you do better with them. And you also need a lot of alone time, which I completely understand. I would say I'm an ambivert, so I love and I'm very energized by people. Like right now, I'm becoming so energized. Afterwards, I'm going to be extremely energized after I've spoken to everybody and spoken on here. But then there are also times where I need to be alone. I can't just be with people. Like recently, I've not really spent much time alone. I'm either talking to people or I'm with people, or I'm just constantly doing something, and it's kind of taking a toll on me. Like I love that alone time. I went for a walk recently, like a few weeks ago, and I was like, damn, man, I'm like the best company ever. I love it. Like if I was just the only one left on earth, obviously I'd be sad a little bit. Eventually I guess I would want to talk to someone, but I just really like my own company. And that's really important. It's really important. So side note, when you're happy being single, that's when you get the best relationships, okay? Because you're coming from a place of, I love my life, okay? And now I want someone who's going to add to my peace, to the joy and the bliss that I feel, rather than, oh my God, I hate my life, I need someone, like someone come. It's a form of escapism, okay? Is being shy or introvert the same thing? No, I feel like shyness, maybe it is. I actually saw this video somewhere that someone said that all children are born extroverted and some sort of trauma happens to them and then they become introverted. So I don't know. Let me know what you think about that. I think when people feel the way I believe that time. I think when people feel that way, I believe that time they are not ready to get things further in relationship, especially getting more serious things like accepting the whole person as life. Yeah, okay, so going back to the relationships thing. Yeah, completely. The world needs more like you, along with Bob Marley. Thank you, Ian. You're so sweet. Okay, yeah. Yeah, when I was, obviously, it was very unhealthy, right? I wasn't in a healthy place. I was like yo-yoing between, oh my God, like I really want to be close to someone and like have that like spiritual and like emotional intimacy with someone, and then I become limerent and anxious. I'm like, oh my God, has they replied? Oh my God, did I say something wrong? Oh my God, did I use the wrong emoji? Oh my God, this. And then it would be like, oh no, they like me. Ugh, no, I like chasing. I like it when they don't like me, sort of thing. And that wasn't healthy, okay? But that was because my focus was never on me. My awareness was never inside of me. I was I wasn't pre-centric, okay? I wasn't internally referenced. I was extremely externally referenced. So internal reference is where you, let me give you a scenario. Like, let me give you an example and then you'll figure it out, okay? So let's say you're with a group of people, okay? And then someone says to me, let's say I'm internally referenced, okay? Someone says, okay, wait, no, okay, let me not do that. Okay, I had this example from this woman called Annie, okay? She was talking about her husband. And she said, oh, my husband's extremely internally referenced. So if everybody's doing something, and then you look at him and say, wait, why are you not doing that? He'll just say, oh, no, they're crazy. I don't know why they're doing that. I know, I'm not going to do that. Like, I don't think that's right. Whereas she's very externally referenced. So she would look at everybody and see what everybody's doing and like kind of get the gist of things. And then she'll be like, oh, okay, like that's the right thing to do. Do you understand? So it's externally references where you are very influenced by other people. Okay, and it's not a bad thing. There should be a balance between the two. We should obviously like pay attention to our inner world and our external world. So like I said, I didn't have that balance. I was very externally yeah, oh my god, I need to like screenshot these. So sweet. Oh god, okay, let me just like, I like to like absorb compliments straight into my heart. You should do that. Like when someone says something really sweet, like just absorb it into your body, okay? Because it forms an inner resource, and inner resources are what contribute to us having a strong character. And that's what we want, right? We want to have strong resources within us to be able to take on life. So yeah. But yes, the relationships thing. Hang on, let me just drink some water. My mouth is getting so dry. Ghee, guys. Ghee hydrates you, okay? I haven't had ghee recently. So ghee creates electronized water. So I know I'm going off on a tangent, but we like to do things the feminine way. Tangents are reflective of life, because life is like woo 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 woo. Life is not like woo, that's just the masculine way. So yeah, tangent. Yeah, ghee. Okay, there are 4 states of water. There's gas, liquid, solid, electronized. Okay, electron water. And electron water is what the clouds are. So the clouds are full of electrons. So that's why when you walk through a cloud, you're not going to get wet. You're going to feel really energized. And then electron water is what we want. We want the water in us to be electronized, okay? That's why they say go ground yourself, go in the sun, get UV, have ghee, etc., etc., because it causes it contributes to your electron transport chain, I believe, which is important in producing ATP, which gives you energy, and energy is life. You see? So ghee is really important. It hydrates you, so you don't really necessarily need to drink that much water. The elderly people like just had it right. Okay, nowadays we think, oh my god, ghee, fat is bad, but fat is actually good for you guys. Fat is better than carbs, because fat produces deuterium depleted water. So deuterium is something that you can search up, okay, that creates disease and cancer in your body. So you don't want that. You want lower levels of deuterium, and then deuterium depleting water helps with that, okay? So ghee creates that. So have ghee, have fats, cheese, paneer, dairy. That's why in India, I was like, oh my god, these people, they constantly go on about dairy, they love that. There's a lot of pride in like having good milk and butter and makhan and ghee, ghee and all of that. And I just didn't get it. I was like, oh my god, what? Like, people should be vegan. Not that I'm a vegan. I don't know. You just think that you should be. And like, oh my god, fat. Oh my god, I don't want to get high cholesterol. I don't want to have a heart attack. Oh, let me just have a seed oil, seed oil that's probably full of petroleum, because think about it, a little seed, right, produces like this much oil, and then you have a whole can of oil. So how many seeds do you need for that? You're going to need, for 1 can of oil, for all of it to be pure, a big room full of seeds, okay? But they produce this on a mass scale. So what are they putting in there to supplement for the fact that clearly they're not using that many seeds, okay? So just think about it. Ghee is the best way. I just like using ghee now when I cook. I'm a good Catholic boy. Oh my god. Oh, good. You need to watch my video on the shadow and how none of us are actually good, and trying to be good It's like, it's not necessary. It's okay. I mean, be kind, be loving, but also accept all of your sides. Everything is holy. The unholy is holy. God is in everything. Yeah, God is in the darkness, the light, the pain, the grief, but the joy and the bliss and all of that. So it's all good. But I'm going into things. Let me know if you want me to speak to that. Am I lactose intolerant? Jeez, Keshav. We're really getting in there, aren't we? No, I'm not lactose intolerant. I'm good. I'm great. But okay, let's circle back to relationships. Okay. What have I learned and why are my relationships thriving now? And why do I feel happier? Okay. So if something comes up, okay, let's say in a romantic relationship or something, okay, something's coming up. That person, okay, I'm gonna word it in a particular way. That person is making me feel a certain way. They're making me feel insecure. Okay, they're making me feel annoyed at certain things. What do? I'll tell you what I don't do. I don't sit there and point at them and blame them and even go up to them like, you did this and you did like, how dare you make me feel like this, how dare you make me feel insecure, stop saying this, stop saying that. But I don't do that anymore. You know why? Because anything that comes up, anything that seems troublesome, anything that is like slightly triggering, I use that as an opportunity to go back into myself and do shadow work. Yes, Ian, I guess we're naturally going to get onto the subject anyway. Shadow work is something that is important. And I used to go out and raving on about this in all of my lives. And I will continue to do so. You know why? Because it's something that I like now because I've implemented in my life, I can own the shadow part of me. And the shadow part of you is the part that you repress, you hide, you feel guilt from. So let's say there was actually a situation that came up where someone said something to me about my weight. And then, it was something that my weight is something that I'd always been insecure about ever since I was young. And then I thought that I kind of got over it, which I have, because I remember this person saying it to me and I didn't feel as triggered as I usually would. Usually it would be like the death of me and I'd be like, stab me, like, well, you technically just did stab me with your words kind of thing. But I don't know, this time I didn't feel it was that deep, okay? But it did feel still kind of a little bit deep. So what did I do? I didn't sit there and just cry about it or like attack that person, but like, and get defensive and be like, yeah, oh really? But you have this. You don't see me talking about it, and like mentioning it, or I didn't try to spite that person. Ciao, Bella. I have to go to the restaurant to feed the hungry masses. Okay, ciao. I didn't sit there and do any of these things. What I did was I sat down and I spoke to ChatGPT and I was like, look, this is what's happening. Like, can we go through an EK process? So Existential Kink is the book that I've been reading that is amazing for if you want to do shadow work. And there's a process, okay? So you bring up what it is. So this person says something about my weight, and clearly if this is a pattern, because it has been a pattern, it's been a pattern, especially in romantic relationships for myself. So I was like, okay, why is this happening? Okay, well, clearly I love feeling insecure. Clearly I love being shamed for my weight because it continues to happen, because I take full responsibility for it. I know that I'm like kind of the only thing that exists. Everything is a projection of me. So that person saying that to me is a mirror of me. You see, this is why romantic relationships, like if you're in a romantic relationship, like I bow down to you, okay? Because those are difficult. Those are really difficult. Because it's like, whoa, look at yourself, okay? Like you have this problem. Not that they say it, but like it comes out, right? It becomes a thing. You see it. You're like, whoa, okay. Maybe I'm insecure about this. Like, why am I getting triggered by this? Why this person just said this, but like, why is it annoying me when someone else says it? It doesn't annoy me as much. But it's because romantic relationships, just like I said, a very, very strong mirror, and they just have a way of getting under your skin. It's because what actually happens is you associate your partner with your most troublesome parent. So let's say you had daddy issues, okay? You had a really troubling relationship with your father. Then that person that you're dating, let's say it's a man and you're a woman, your nervous system will treat that person like it's your dad, okay? There's no like distinction that it will make between the two. That is why you will feel more triggered than ever than if someone else said it to you. So yeah, when this person said that to me, I was like, okay, let's explore this, Priya, because this is clearly like a pattern for you, you know? Like, this is what I'm saying. Time. This is what time is useful for. You can look at patterns. You can see in the past, this used to be a thing. In the present, it's happening. So what can I do about this? Like, how do I help myself through this? You know, how do I change this so that I'm not going through the same pattern over and over again? Because that's what life is about. Life is about just learning through experience or listening to people and just taking their word for it, you know, going the easy way and then growing from that. And then life becomes easier, okay? Life becomes easier in the sense that you know how to swim now. Let's say life is a swimming competition. You not having these tools in your bag is you not knowing how to swim, okay? But you learning these things, learning from your different like lessons and patterns and experiences, is you becoming a very good swimmer. And then eventually, you know, you're gonna have waves in life. You're gonna come across fishes and sharks and loads of other things. But then you're gonna be able to be, you know, able to traverse the depths of the ocean because you're a good swimmer now. So that's it. That's all life's about. Just becoming a good swimmer, I guess. Yeah, just keep swimming, you know, like Dory says in Finding Nemo. Build your character and your strength and your resilience in such a way that nothing can faze you. You know, it's funny because Guru Pashupati, he was saying that, you know, everybody just has weak ass emotions. Like, why you choose what emotions you have? You know that, right? So I can sit here all day and choose to feel like lack, okay? And feel not good enough and feel insecure and be suspicious and distrustful of people. Or I can believe in abundance and fertility and strength and be like, oh, okay, this person's gone. Okay, another one will come. Someone better will come. Another better opportunity will come. Yeah, I'm fertile. I believe that I can cultivate and grow the you know, the characteristics I want. I have a growth mindset, right? I guess that's what like fertility is. It's like having a growth mindset of like, okay, I need a skill, all right, I'll just learn it. Not, oh my god, I don't know, I'm screwed. Right? Very different, very profound, if I must say so myself. You can learn things, and I for someone who's always learning, I know sometimes it still surprises me, like, whoa, okay, I don't just have to worry. Oh, I don't know how to cook that meal. Okay, I'll learn. I don't know how to play that instrument. Okay, I'll learn. I don't know how to speak, I don't know, Italian. I'll learn. You know, and you can constantly be learning. In fact, learning is fundamental to life. It's evolution. If you're not evolving, you're dying. Really, right? Like, look at survival. Okay, we'll go into survival of the fittest. Why not? The animal that doesn't like evolve dies out, and that's what happens if you don't learn. You know. But obviously, you know, survival of the fittest is a bit extreme. It doesn't. He kind of like there's more built on survival of the fittest. Let's explore it. Sure, we'll explore it. Yeah, survival of the fittest kind of goes on the notion that human beings are just like trying to survive, and I guess it really supports consumerism and capitalism and the patriarchy, you know, of dog eats dog kind of world, step on someone else to get on top, reach for the stars, doing that, you know, not everybody can win, only you can win because it's the survival of the fittest. First of all, that's not actually how nature works. Nature works in a very symbiotic way. Nature benefits itself, each other, right? Like, every little thing has a purpose. Like the trees, they help us, right? They give us oxygen. They give the plants oxygen. They give animals oxygen. Everything is benefiting. It's like a cycle, okay? It's not just like a hierarchy of like there are people at the bottom and then there's people at the top and only the people at the top can win and everybody's a loser. That's just what you're made to believe, okay? There are loads of systems in place that you must educate yourself on and become aware of and be like, okay, is this actually a truth? Is this my truth? Or is this a truth that has been instilled into me or indoctrinated into me through school, through my parents, through what they've learned? I recently learned that to graduate, as in graduate from university, means to gradually indoctrinate. How interesting is that? Because universities are Masonic in nature. So they're part of the Freemasons. So yeah, when you graduate, you've been gradually indoctrinated by the Freemasons, which kind of makes sense, you know. Like, it does make sense when you really think about it, like the whole like process of it, and like the orders and the honors and the degrees, because you have, I believe you have the degrees in Freemasonry as well, right? Like 33 degrees is what you see, I think, like what they let on to you. But there's like apparently loads more. But yeah, lots of different systems are in play that you think are you, that you think are a part of your personality. For example, I was watching this show, well, this documentary. It was a really profound documentary about this guy who went to prison. So he used to live in LA. He was a young boy. And what does the patriarchy teach you? Okay, it teaches men that, oh, do I have my notes on that? Let me see. Where did I put my notes? Okay, wait. I will find them. Yeah, but okay, so he went to prison because obviously in the patriarchy, if you're a man, you have to be strong. You have to be attractive, right? I mean, sorry, okay, you have to be physically strong so that, you know, essentially you can be violent to other men and then you can win because you're like, oh, okay, the strongest man is the most masculine man, right? So you prove that by fighting. And then you have to be rich and have money so that you can impress other women. And if you don't have such things, then you're not considered a good, great, attractive man. So he was young, and then he armed himself. He went into a shop, and then he was charged with armed robbery. And then he was in prison, and then he realized that there was a system, right? There's a certain belief. There was a certain like environment that these people had grown up in. Because look, people who are criminals, like, we have a perception of them that they're really evil, but they're usually people who just lost control in a particular setting. Like, I really want you to be like, to think in a compassionate way, okay? Maybe let's just have this notion of everybody is good, okay? Like, there is no bad, right? And then think about it. Then think about people who are in prison and think, whoa, okay, if everybody's good and these people are in prison, what made them get to that point? Like, what made them feel like they had to do these things? Why did they kill someone? Why did they lose control? Why did they hurt someone? Why did they need to rob someone? There's a good reason for everything. No one wakes up and thinks, oh, you know what? I think it's a really good idea that I should just go like rob someone, even though I'm like really happy in my life. I have healthy, loving relationships. You know, people care for me. I have a great, strong community bonds. I'm doing exactly what I love. I have peace of mind. I have a healthy body. Like, what person who has all of that would go out and do these things? Not many, right? And the thing is, it's so easy for us to objectify them. And objectification is something that I also learned about. Objectification is the process of taking a living being and turning it into a thingness, okay? So inmate, the word inmate was created to objectify people who are in prison, because when you say, I'm going to lock that person up, I'm going to put them in solitary confinement, I'm going to build this cell for people to put them in here to give them the maximum punishment that you could give to a person, how would you feel about that, right? Like, how does that sound when we use the word people or person when it comes to prisoners? You know, and then how does it feel like, oh, okay, this cell is being built for inmates who we shall be punishing for if they step out of line. It sounds better, right? Hi, Pratham. Hi. You know, like, so that's it. Like, we objectify people when we feel out of control and we want to control that thing, okay? So that's what people did. They started to objectify inmates, and then you reduce them. So now in the news, if you hear like, oh, you know, we're reducing, I don't know, let's, for example, we're reducing food for inmates because they deserve to be punished. Everyone at home is going to be like, yeah, take their food away from them. Hi, Sia. Take their food away from them. They're inmates. They're prisoners. They're criminals. They don't deserve shit. But if we said, oh, there are these human beings that are living here that we have locked up and caged like animals, with zero regard for them, and now we're reducing how, they have rights to food. How would that make you feel, right? Because it's more relatable. I don't know what you're speaking about, but is it related due to stereotypes or what? Yes, it's about objectification, and what objectification is, and how objectification takes something and turns it into nothingness. So, for example, another one is men when they call women whores, right? Why do they do that? It's because they are very overwhelmed by that woman, maybe that woman's sexuality. So what they do to control that feeling of emasculation, because that's what happens when men feel overwhelmed by a woman in general, okay, but I guess especially her sexuality, they feel out of control. It's emasculating for them. So for them to gain a semblance of control, what they do is they'll objectify her and be like, oh, she's just a whore. Oh, she's just like this. She's just like this. And objectification happens all the time. It happens. I'm really educated. Thank you. Oh, am I being objectified right now? Oh, I'm kidding. It's whenever we judge someone, okay? So like at work, it could be like, oh, the old woman, or it can happen like when you could not stay away. I just have that effect on people. Ian, what can I say? Like for example, I used to objectify people. A shopkeeper, I'll be like, oh, the shopkeeper, rather than, oh, this is this person's name. Let's say his name is Ian, okay? Ian, Ian works there, blah, blah, blah. Like, Ian has a life. Ian is human. Ian has human emotions. But we don't think like that. We just think, oh, the shopkeeper did this to me today. The shopkeeper was mean. Or, the person working in the restaurant, the waiter did this. But that person, that is objectification if you think about it. You've labeled that person, you've turned them into a thingness. They're just a waiter, they're just a doctor, they're just a nurse, they're just a cleaner or a gardener, and then you take away their humanness, and then it's easy to mistreat them. Or a child, right? I don't even like the notion of labeling a young person, okay, a child, I don't like it. You know why? Because it gives you a free pass. It gives people a free pass to impose their control on the child. Oh, I don't even want to say child, a young person, okay? A young human being, to impose their will upon that young human being, right? You won't respect that young human being as much as you would as another adult, right? You think that you can tell it what to do, you can tell it what to wear, you can tell it how to act, how to feel, how to control its emotions, how to do everything. Right? You probably experienced this when you were growing up, where you were controlled by the adults around you. Maybe not all of you, but maybe some of you. If you didn't grow up with conscious human, adult parents, a pair that rents, etymology is really interesting. I would definitely read into it. But yeah. For example, in school, like my brother comes home from school and there's, he speaks of this hierarchy that clearly exists, and he has to ask when to go to the bathroom, and a teacher can shout at him, a teacher can tell him off, a teacher can do this, a teacher can do that, but he can't do any of these things. But why? Why is it okay for a teacher to shout at him, who is he's a human being, he's just as worthy? We can't say someone. This is what happens when we objectify. We take away something's worth. We take away its value. When you label someone an inmate, that person has zero value. Are you kidding me? If there was like, I don't know, like a zombie apocalypse, the last place you would go to save people is a prison, right? Like, who's gonna be like, oh, let me just walk down to the prison and like unlock these people and like save them? No, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, let them die. I should have a radio show. This is my radio show. But yeah, like, that's what would happen. And I think that's awful, to take away someone's value like that. I don't believe anybody's value should be taken away, regardless of what they do. And I know that sounds crazy, but you know what? How about we just think in a completely unorthodox way? That's the way I like to think, and I'm going to share my unorthodox opinions with people. And I guess if you stick around, then I guess you kind of like them. I don't have to think in the same way everybody else does. I refuse to, I can't help it anyway. But yeah, the highest version of me treats everybody with respect and loves everybody and understands that everybody has value, because not just because they're a mirror of me, but because that's how I want to be in the world. And that's not limited to people. That's everything. That's animals, that's plants, that's everything. I don't I don't kill insects anymore. I will just pick them up and move them out to the side, because why am I going to kill you? Why would I claim to be more worthy than you? I am not. And what a wonderful person to be with, right? Like obviously, like, this is something I'm working on. Am I Brazilian? I am not Brazilian. Are you in Canada? I'm not in Canada. I'm in England and I am Indian. Yeah. So, I guess it's a kind of a very like wise way of thinking, but imagine that. Imagine coming across someone and they just treat everybody with reverence, with respect, everything and everyone. Like a wonderful person to be in the company of, right? Especially, let's say you're an elderly person. Let's say you're a woman and that person's a man. Or let's say you're a child. Like, that's a scary world. It's a scary world for a young human being. To be in a world full of these like intense, weird, controlling adults who are not happy themselves, but then they're constantly telling you what to do and how to think and how to feel and how to act. I mean, that was the case for me anyway. But yeah, what a wonderful place to be, where everybody just respects each other and you feel happy for it. Guru Pashupati, he was saying how there's a certain amount of happiness that you get from yourself, okay? And then there's like an unlimited amount of happiness you get when you're around other people. I am from England and I'm Indian. And it makes sense because we're social creatures, right? We thrive in community. And to be honest, everything kind of thrives in a community because everything is so interconnected. So community is just everywhere. Like trees, they have a community that they share. They communicate with each other on, in the mycelium layer under the ground. They pass nutrients onto each other. Bacteria sacrifice their lives to save other bacteria. Love exists on all levels. Community exists on all levels. And clearly in humans too. And maybe that's where we're going wrong because, I learned from Guru Pashupati, it's not about self-development, it's about social development. When you care about everybody else and, about the growth of you and your community together, then automatically you're doing self-development. Like when it's for everybody. Hi, sorry for not getting context. What is it about? Wow, Jay Shri, I kind of was talking about a sense of community and the importance of treating everybody and everything with respect and love and reverence. In plants, animals, young human beings, aka children, people like prisoners, criminals, all of these people with respect. But then I'm not condoning that you take disrespect. So if someone tries to, I don't know, stab you or stab a whole other group of people, I am by no means saying stand there and do nothing. All I am saying is that you can do things with grace, okay? The greatest leaders are not those who kidnapped the enemy from the battleground who were injured and took them and sold them and took their body parts and I don't know, like rape the women or whatnot and treat them in an inhumane way. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a leader who feels like, oh, okay, I have to protect my people, but let me do it in the most humane, graceful way ever. And thank you. It is amazing, right? And if we could just do that, you know how much happier you'd be, because the way that you interact with people is you're saying this to yourself. Oh my God. Finally something other than cooking and get ready. Oh, okay. Well, welcome to the community. But yeah, because imagine going out in a world, right, where you can trust people and genuinely believe that they're good people. I grew up and my mom would always say this thing like, don't trust people, don't tell your friends things, don't tell them this, don't tell them that, trust no one, trust only your family. And that's a really scary world to be in, okay? And also you just assume the worst and you are living in emotions that are just full of distrust and like suspense, not so not suspense, I guess suspense too, but like everybody seems sus to you. Okay, you're trying to figure things out. That's all I would do. Like, oh my god, okay, oh my god, okay. And I'm a Scorpio, so we're naturally investigative, and I'm like, oh, okay, like, what are you trying to say? Are you good for me? Are you a good person? You know, rather than just being like, everybody is doing the best that they can with what they know. I know me. I have strong boundaries. I trust myself. I trust that I can take care of myself. I can, stand up for myself, for justice, for myself. And that's it. And you just go through life, easy. Also, when you assume people are good, like when you actually say back to them, so this is actually a communication hack. Let's say you're communicating with someone, right? And then you want them to, I don't know, let me think about it actually. You're communicating with someone and you want them to be honest. Rather than going up to them and be like, can you just be freaking honest for once? Like, that's what I want. What, is it really, really that hard? Like, just tell me the truth. Rather than saying something like that, why not say, I really wanted to have this conversation with you, and I know that you value honesty, and you express that in in different parts of your life, and I know that you will in this conversation too. Right? Like, that person will do that, right? Like, because I'm projecting these great values onto you, and then you'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, I am. Cool. You're holding that person to a higher vision, and then they will naturally fall in line, okay? Who are you talking to 5 years? When we grow, we actually realized she wasn't wrong, though. Well, I'm talking to the 5 viewers that are here. There are only 5 views. Well, thank you for noticing. 5 is more than enough for me, honey. I guess maybe he's trying to, I don't know. Love to you. You're loved. Thank you for being here and being one of those 5 people. So appreciated. Oh god, I need to work on my arm. I love being sarcastic. Fuck it. But yeah, when we're good to each other, life is good for you, like that's where happiness is. Because think about it this way, because you're cute. Yeah, in real life, let's say you're in your family, you're the one winning, you're successful, you're happy, you're healthy, you're abundant, and then everybody around you is unhappy, they're unhappy, they're unhealthy, they don't really feel abundant, then how are you gonna feel? Like, for example, let's say I'm the one who makes it in my family, right? I go from my 5 views to 5 billion views, okay? Because everybody starts off somewhere, darling. Then, and my family is, I don't know, suffering or something. How happy can I be? Like, the extent of the level of happiness that I can attain, the threshold that I can surpass is very limited, right? Because how can I be happy if everybody around me is suffering? But if I'm happy and everybody around me is happy, like they're enjoying the fruits of abundance and joy and success that I have created, or that I've also like cultivated in my community, think about how happy I can be then. There's like infinite amounts of happiness that is available to me then, right? Like, how many homes can you live in? How many clothes can you wear? How many cars can you drive at once? How many horses can you ride? Not many, but like when you do things with other people, like some of the best memories I've had are just very simple. Me sitting with my family, we're just laughing, and that's it. The happiest. My name is Priya. Jayshree. Nice to meet you. The happiest times were literally like the simplest, the most ordinary moments. Just being present, calm, relaxed, laughing. Oh my god, you guys are giving me so much love, I'm gonna cry. Thank you. But yeah, those are you guys are so cute. I'm so happy. I'm so glad I came on today. Yeah, and I feel like that's probably the same for everybody. You know, I think sometimes we go through life and we think that simplicity is too simple and it doesn't make sense, and that's not where joy lies, and that's not where we can feel the most ecstasy and bliss and excitement. But trust me, it is in those moments that you feel everything. Because how many times can you go skydiving? Okay, like what are you gonna do? Skydive 24/7? You know, like bungee jump 24/7? Probably not, right? Like it's life is full of these ordinary moments, but these ordinary moments don't have to be so ordinary when you're very present and you're surrounded by the people you love. And then also, oh, thank you, Jay Shree. I appreciate you. I like to read, so maybe that's why. Yes, that's probably maybe why I like to write also. But what was my point? Hi, Maurice. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're having deep philosophical chats about things. But yeah, people think that, oh, you know, I have to be going out, I have to be spending loads of money, I have to have the nicest house, the nicest car. Not that these things are wrong. Okay, look, there's no wrong in it. But what you're doing in that sense is I think you're trying to find happiness in objects maybe. And okay, objects do have consciousness, okay, so I'm not saying disrespect objects, even things, right? Like like, this is what I'm saying, treat everything with love, with respect. If I treat my phone with love and respect, it's going to stay by me. I used to talk to my old phone, okay, I got my old phone. This is the first phone I ever bought for myself, and I was so happy. And I would always talk to her, but like, thank you, like, I love you so much. You're just wonderful. Thank you for working so well. And that phone was amazing. It still works. Like, I just gave it to my brother, you know, and it's functioning amazingly, you know. When machines or cars or things like that stop working and they get weird, talk to them. They can sense it. Okay, it sounds crazy, but it's not. And it's also okay if it sounds crazy. So what? Like, own that you're crazy. I'm crazy. I own that shit. What do I study? I study a lot of things, actually. I study loads. Anything that where my curiosity leads me. Guys, your curiosity is really, really important. Okay, there's curiosities are like inner glimpses, inner glimmers. Like it's like glitter. It's like, ooh, that sounds interesting, and then you can just go and like explore it, right? And then you don't know where it might lead you. So yeah, I'm very free like that. I'm not studying in terms of like a traditional if you ask me, talking to a non-living object is stupid. Okay, well, thank you for sharing your opinion. I don't think it's stupid. And that's okay. That can also be, you know, two things can exist, two truths can exist at the same time. So it is what it is. I believe that if you treat everything with respect, you get that back, because you get back what you I know, I saw Jayshree. Oh my god, I'm so happy to have you. Where are you from? Tell me all about you. You know, like, if you treat things with respect and love, what do you think you're gonna get? They're not, you know, they're not gonna like let you down. Oh my god, you know what? May your talent go a long way. Oh my god, you're gonna kill me with this love. Should care about things. You should care about it. See, Maurice? You came around to it. You came around to it. Maybe you'll start talking to inanimate objects too. It's fun, okay? Talk to your food. Because look, your words. Like, what do they say in Christianity? First there was a word, right? Your words are spells. That's why they call it spelling. And you know, you're casting your vibrations onto things. Your name, if you read into numerology, your name has a certain vibration. Different words. If I say things like love and peace and joy and all of these things to you right now, you'll feel certain vibrations in your body. And some of you will, and some of you may not, because your sensitivity has been decreased, okay? But if I say things like war and poverty and rage and anger, how does that make you feel? Like, just sit and tune in. And hopefully your sensitivity is sensitive enough, you know, so that you can kind of distinguish between the two. Okay? And then that should get you thinking, oh, whoa, okay, so if I say some words like anger and rage, I feel differently. But if I say something like peace and love and joy and, I don't know, cats, if you love cats, and, brownies or cake, I feel good. You see? Like, and then you're like, whoa, okay, like, if I said more things that make me feel good during the day, maybe I'll feel better. And then, I don't know, maybe if I feel better, my life will be better, because apparently if I feel good, then I attract good. Like, I hope this makes sense. But yeah, your words, man, like, your words are, like, really, really important, okay? Incredibly important. So I always try to be, who cares, Moise? Who cares if you're like, who cares? Do you actually understand what a schizophrenic is? Maybe a schizophrenic isn't crazy. Ever thought of that? Like, ever thought of the fact that maybe your understanding of, like, not that I'm coming at you, or anything like that. I just get very passionate. But yeah, like, like, okay, look, I'm not gonna tell you what to do, but with me, I'm very open. Okay, like, I'm not gonna like, say, not that I'm saying you do or anything. Okay, like, if you take offense, you take offense. That's your problem. That's not my problem. But what I'm saying is, I am a very open-minded person. Okay, maybe you don't understand schizophrenia the way that I do. Maybe those people are seeing things that are actually there that we can't see. Okay, let me ask you this: can you see the wind? If you can't see the wind, how do you know it, like, exists? You can feel it, right? Some people can sense love. Some people can sense, like, something wrong and danger. Not everybody can. Does that mean it doesn't exist? It's everybody's. You're a med student. It makes sense. You're in a education system that is indoctrinating you. It is filling you with certain things. Yeah, of course. It's look, okay, tell me this, please, Moise. In medicine, how do you treat the body? Do you treat the body as separate from the mind and the soul? Let me know. Because that's what most modern medicine does, right? It treats the body and the soul and the mind as um different things, right? They don't understand that everything is interconnected. You can't have a healthy body if you don't have a healthy mind. You can't have a healthy body if you have an unhappy soul. But the thing is, look, it was actually Descartes who came in, and then he decided to create a distinction between science and, like, mysticism and spirituality, you could say. So he said that, like, these things aren't the same. But what you'll find is science is only catching up now to what people knew thousands of years ago, hundreds of thousands of years ago. So science is only starting to prove those things. So science, yeah, science is wonderful, but science is far behind or the knowledge that already exists, the wisdom that already exists. And I think what people, like I said, what people think is, that if science can't explain it, or science hasn't touched upon it, it's not a thing. But maybe in a few thousand years, you'll understand what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I just don't think that we should discount things as woo-woo. It's usually the things that are taboo and woo-woo that make the most sense and are usually right. Like, you're being taught things for a particular reason. First of all, you're studying in med school, which is, I'm studying, I guess, at a university, which is, who created universities? Why are universities there? Like, what's the agenda behind them? Who runs them? What does it mean to graduate? To gradually indoctrinate, like, if you do deeper research into things, you'll understand. But a lot of people don't. They see things from a very surface based level thing, and hey, like, that doesn't make you stupid or unintelligent. It just means that you don't know. And if you don't know something, that doesn't mean that you're unintelligent. It just means that you just don't know. So maybe you just don't know yet. Maybe you'll find out, maybe you won't. But this is my philosophy on life, I guess. I don't guess, it is. It's what I know now, and it may change. Things always changing. My understanding is always changing. Something I agreed with yesterday may not necessarily be the thing that I agree with today. But from my understanding, that education system is a business to make money, and it's, you know what? I'm gonna choose you all to having very extreme opinions, because I feel like sometimes I don't express exactly truly how I'm feeling, because I'm like, oh no, like be neutral, or like no, like maybe it's not true. But okay, let me straight out with it, okay? The education system that you're studying in was created, it's a school system, right? Is created, universities come into a system of school, is created by in London, okay? It was created, schools were created to get the peasants off the street so that they could be controlled and they could be indoctrinated and put into factories and made into worker bees, essentially, like rats in a rat race. Okay, so that's the system in which you're learning from. You're not learning actual wisdom. You're not learning how to work in a community with people. You're not learning about social development. You're learning, how can I get the top grades? How can I be the top student at the med school? How can I get this position? And then blah 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 blah. Okay, and how can I treat a human being like a body and really discount their mind, their soul, and all of these things, because I've been taught that they're woo-woo, and this just doesn't fly in science, because science hasn't explained it, and science is everything, and if it's not explained by science yet, then and I can't see it, then it doesn't exist. Tell me if I'm wrong. Here we hi Abhishek, I'm Priya. I missed the whole thing. I have 5 minutes left. I'm learning everything except the mind's whole thing. Well, you don't think the mind or the soul are important? There are different books. Okay, let me recommend you a book you can actually read. Because I think if you're learning something, right, if you have a general interest in medicine and you want to heal people, then I would say do wider reading. And wider reading in different things outside of what they tell you to do, right? Because of course they're just going to teach you certain things. And if you're curious, you'll want to learn more. So, okay, read this one. When the Body Says No. Okay, this is written by a doctor. I'm pretty sure he's a doctor. Dr. Gabor Matier. He says when the body says no. So there was a woman in here, right? She had the inability to say no. She got so many diseases. Let me tell you. She had so many autoimmune diseases. She had scleroderma, rheumatoid arthritis, ulcerative colitis, systemic lupus erythematosus, and many other conditions, right? She had MS. She had possibly even Alzheimer's. Okay, no. Okay, she didn't have that. Those are just autoimmune diseases, which we don't know why they happen. But okay, she had all of those things, okay? Why did she have them? Why did the doctor not figure out what was wrong? They checked her body, they did all the tests, blah, 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 whatever you do. Turns out her whole life she had the inability to say no. She was abused as a child. She grew up as a people pleaser her whole life. So then her body, she would overwork, right? People were like, oh, can you do this? Can you do this? Okay, be a wife, be a mom, come here, do this, do that. She was doing all these things. She got all these diseases. The doctors can't help her, right? They learn medicine. They don't know. They just learn one kind of train of thought, thinking this way, right? Let's not look at everything. Let's look at her lifestyle. Let's look at if there's any trauma that exists. Let's look at her emotional life, her, her mental, spiritual life. How was she at home? They didn't consider any of that. And then turns out, well, yeah, my girl couldn't say no, and her body shut down and was like, oh, okay, you're not going to listen to us. You won't stop doing all these things for people. I'm going to shut it down. I don't know if they would have taught you that in med school. We treat our patients so nicely. Okay, great. But nicely and actually, I guess, I'm sure you do. But that's great, I guess. But that's the standard, right? It was like, of course, you're going to treat them well. You treat human beings well, right? Universities for grooming, but they teach us such books which tell us about making money. But they don't teach us. I will read after my years. Okay, go ahead, Moise, read it. If I have any more, I'll probably do have more recommendations. I would read them. You know why? Because allow yourself to educate yourself through your own curiosity. I dropped out of university. I dropped out, and I was someone who, like, I'm an Indian, okay, like, like, your parents don't just let you drop out, but I dropped out because I didn't like it. It didn't feel right. I don't feel like I need to have a degree to prove that I'm intelligent. I don't need that, okay? And I just didn't buy into the system. It's an institutionalized like you know, a capitalized kind of Freemasonic system that I don't need to be a part of, and it didn't feel right. I can go and educate myself on things myself through my own curiosity, and yeah, like I can learn what I actually want to learn rather than learning something that someone created, like a syllabus that someone created, God knows why, like with what thought. I mean, to be honest, actually, if you look at into the history of modern medicine and medicine in general and the degree in medicine, you'll see that it was actually, what's his name? It was an oil tycoon who created petroleum, right? He created petroleum and then he created modern medicine because a lot of medicines are I guess full of petroleum and these chemicals that he was benefiting from. So what this person did was they went and they shut down or tried to have create propaganda against holistic health healing things, and wanted people to just focus on medicine. When I don't even believe in modern medicine, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. No, I believe in healing naturally. I believe that there are ways to heal in a way that takes into account quantum physics rather than just quantum biology. Also, I would say read the Mitochondriac Manifesto. That'll teach you a lot, also, you know, because you think in modern medicine that it's all about hormones. Oh my god, okay, your hormones you have low dopamine. Oh, that's why you have you know, depression. It runs in the family, blah blah blah. Also read there's another book. What's his name? There's a book. If you come back or something, oh, your time is out. Okay, bye. But okay, I hope you learned something. But yeah, a lot of people think that things like you get told that things run in the family. You'll get it. Or someone has yeah, we'll definitely talk about it. It's definitely something I'm passionate about. Yeah, some people think like, oh, you know, the disease runs in the family, you'll get it. But it's Bruce Lipton, that's his name, Bruce Lipton. Read his book. He talks about how it's not even to do with your genes, it's to do with the environment. So your lifestyle, like I mentioned from this book, this lady couldn't say no, okay? If you read Becoming Supernatural by Joe Dispenza, you will see also a woman in there who had you know, problems, like life problems. Do I use Insta? Yeah, I have Insta. So my Insta is Scorpio Sage 8. So it's the same as my YouTube, and I post loads of things on there, which naturally you'll find very interesting. You know? But yeah, like these things are really, really deep, and I feel like it's really fun to talk about them and it's fun to learn about them, and I want to educate people on these things and, you know, push them in that direction so that they can go and educate themselves further. I really hope that these things are planting seeds in your mind. Okay, I'm not an expert in this field, these are just the things that I have learned, and use your own discernment. If you feel like this doesn't resonate with you, that's okay. It doesn't have to resonate with you, you know. It is what it is. I'm just here to tell my truth, and this is it. So dude, we'll have a debate. I don't know about a debate. We'll have a conversation, okay? There's no need to argue about it. I'll just tell you what I know and you can go see for yourself. You don't have to, like I said, you don't have to believe me. I just like to educate myself in a way that's very unlimited, I guess. You know, the opposite of what university is like. I guess. I don't know. I'm not studying medicine, so I can't really think it that well. But yeah, I just don't believe in institutionalized education. There's just different levels of education that you can get. I think it's just a Western way of being. That's all we're kind of used to. But in other countries, for example, my guru, so, you know, Guru Pashupati, he teaches a lot about that. He teaches a lot about how he calls it Thames Nadi. Okay, Thames Nadi. So Thames is in the River Thames. And when he says that, he's referring to the English system of schooling, because a system outside of that used to exist. Okay, it wasn't just go to school for this many hours when you don't actually need to. Okay, one of my friends was a billionaire. Okay, he was a prince from Saudi. He didn't go to school. Okay, his sister didn't go to school and she was doing her GCSEs, and I said, oh, like how long does she, like take to like study? He's like, she has a tutor maybe 2 hours a day or something, or like two hours maybe 3 days. And I said, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, how is she studying for all of her exams? Like, everybody has to go in from 9 to 3. And he's like, well, it's a lie. You don't actually need to, because most of that time is a wasted time. Because what they're doing is they're prepping you for life in employment. Okay, they don't want you to own your own business. They want you to be an employee so you can be another cog in the system that they can exploit. Simples. Like, that's it. You can't go to the bathroom when you want to, right? You have to be there on time. My brother literally gets negatives. Like, have you learned about child education? Do you not understand that you cannot, like, a healthy way to educate a child is not by punishing them and giving them negatives? Like, no, they haven't. It's not up to date. This schooling system is old, it's outdated, and it's not for what you think it is. It's not there to educate you, to elevate you, to inspire you, to make you become aware of your infinite potential. It is there to limit you, to suppress you, to control you, to make you obedient, subservient to them. Because that's what you are. And then also you compete with each other, right? Like, how often do we want someone else to succeed? What do you do in school? I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie Student of the Year. It's a Bollywood movie, and in that Bollywood movie, there's a competition that happens, right? In this competition, it's like the whole class does it, and if you win, you get a scholarship. Obviously, there's only one scholarship, and everybody wants it, and everybody's friends. So everybody starts lying to each other. Everybody starts competing with each other. Everybody starts betraying each other rather than helping each other. They start gatekeeping information. So much happens. And then at the end, one of the guys gets drunk and he's like, you know what, you're just, to the head teacher, he's like, you're just a miserable old man and you don't have anybody with you. You don't have any friends, but look at what you've done to us. You've destroyed our relationships. We all hate each other now. And if that isn't like the most perfect way to sum up what a school is, I don't know what is. Because what does it do? They literally name and shame you, right? There was someone who was telling me that, there would be tests in class, and then the teacher would put like the one who did the best at the top, and then the worst at the bottom, and then she would read them out in order, and then she would shame it's shaming them. In my school, there used to be a list, the same thing, everybody who did the best right at the top, everybody else at the bottom, in front of everybody, shaming them. What the fuck? Like, how's that healthy? How's that loving? How's that kind? How's that helping someone? By publicly shaming them. How, like, I went to a normal comprehensive school, and then I went to a grammar school, and the jump was really difficult for me, and I just didn't fit in. I had loads of anxiety. I was, like, incredibly anxious, and I went from being at the top of my school to being at the bottom of that school, and it was disgusting. It was awful. It was like the worst thing ever. I never felt so shit in my life ever. I felt worthless. Okay, and when I got my exam results, okay, I had failed. I got E's, I got U's, I got D's. This is someone who'd built their self-esteem on competing and being masculine and being the best and being the most smart girl. My whole identity was tarnished. I was like, who am I? I'm not the smart girl anymore. I'm the girl who's failed, okay? And at this point, I was on a trip. And on this trip, I was like so sad, right? And so I was like, I wasn't suicidal, but okay, we were gorge walking. It was a trip in Wales, right? We're gorge walking, which means you're climbing up a waterfall. I was like, Priya, because on the bus there, I found out that I failed my exam, so I have to, they kicked me out of school, essentially. I'm on the way there, and I'm just so sad. I'm heartbroken. I'm depressed. And then I just did the gorge walking. Mom, I'm busy. Oh wow, okay, one butcher, please. Estirando, floterado. Anyway, don't worry about this. Sorry about that. Say jangan gitu kan. Thank you. Yeah, I was so depressed that I was like, okay, you know what, I don't even care right now. I'm gonna do this gorge walking. I have zero fear. Okay, I had zero fear when I did that, and then I actually ended up getting a certificate for being very brave. So I get, like, you see, like, when you don't have fear, there's many things you can do, including climbing up a waterfall. But yeah, like, can you imagine, like, that's what the school system made me feel like. It made me feel worthless. It made me feel like life wasn't worth living. It made me feel like this is it. Like, I was like, is lightning gonna strike me anytime soon? Like, why am I not dead yet? I failed. And I didn't die. I'm still here. And it was a wonderful thing that happened because I moved to a different school and it was great. Obviously it's still the same sort of school system, but yeah, hence why I'm just not about these systems. There are systems that exist beyond that, but we don't tend to see them, right? We just don't know they exist and we're not aware of them, and everything else seems crazy because it's not our normal. That being said, I appreciate you all being here. I had a great time. Hasta la vista, baby.